Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another recap of Tyler Perry's Sistas, Season 6, Episode 7, Ordinary Pain. And I left out in last week's episode about Hayden and Gary's conversation and whatnot. So, let's get into it for this week. So, as y'all already know, it ended off with, Karen and Zach in front of the salon in the parking lot. And you see Fatima glaring at them. So, come to find out, Karen kissed Zach on the cheek, and Fatima saw it all. And then Fatima went up to Zach, was like, "Here, I got these papers. I need you to sign so we can take it to family court." But Fatima wanted to talk to Zach a little bit close by herself, and Karen was like, "Yeah, we at my salon," and and Fatima was like, "Yeah, we outside." And Karen, with her smart, snarky self, she was like, "And you can walk on over somewhere else." And Zach was like, "Listen, I want to conversate between y'all two. Okay, we're gonna go over here and talk." So Fatima pulled out the papers for Zach to sign so that she can get it back to Andy to take the family court so he can get a emergency court date or whatever. And Zach was like trying to plead his case, like, she just kissed me on the cheek. She was like, "Listen, I ain't got time for it. I'm not talking about that. I'm worried about your son right now. That's all that matters." And then after he signed, she got the papers from him and put them in the back in the envelope. He tried to he looked down. He noticed that she didn't have a ring. And he was like, "Fatima, where's your ring?" She was like, and walked off like, sis is heated. She done had it up to here with this dude and Karen shenanigans. And it's like, I totally get where she's coming from, because it's like, you say you love me, but then you're doing all this with the previous chick, and it's just like a slap in the face, totally disrespect. Like, what we doing here? Like, don't be stringing me along. You saying this, but you're doing the total opposite. I totally get where Fatima's coming from. It's like, because once you've been hurt before, you recognize all the red flags, and then you try to be patient and hold it out and see like if change is going to come, and then you realize ain't no change coming. But to each his own. Let's get back onto this. Okay, so after that, Fatima leaves. Zach walks over. No. Aaron and Karen and Pam are talking. But, Aaron happens to pull up, whatever. He drops off some bags. Like, "Listen, I'm done here," and whatnot. So he walks off. And him and Zach have a few words. And they was going back and forth, talk about how God forgives this and do this, all that stuff. It's just like, yeah, they had some words. Zach had some comebacks too. And then, Aaron left. But at the same time, Pam is like, she's on it. When it comes to Aaron, she's quick with it. But when it's just Karen by herself, she's like in defense mode. Like, she plays both sides of the field, and it works out best to her favor. But it's just like, what? And then after that, they had their little situation. Now Zach goes back over to where they are, and now Karen wants Pam to leave. And Pam was like, "I was here to help." She's like, "But there's nothing really you could do." So Pam decides to leave as well. So now it's just Zach and Karen talking and whatnot. Once he grabs her hand, you can see the smile on her face, like, "Sis, did you not remember you did all this stuff to this man, and now since he's holding your hand, you wouldn't think it's all lovey-dovey? Like, girl, please, no." Whatever. So they decided to go into the building and check it out. But at the same time, Karen wanted to do so. Zach was like, "No, that's not going to happen. You stay here while I'll go in and check. You can just stand on the outside and look." So they do that. Meanwhile, back at work, Fatima, she gets back to work. She sees Tamara standing in the lobby, and they're talking and whatnot. And she looks down. She sees Tamara's finger. She's like, "Yeah, we got married, went to Las Vegas." And Fatima was like, "You cannot do this. This is not right. Like, at this moment, I don't got time for this. I'm done. Do what you want. You do you, boo. And that's just what it is. Don't call me. Don't do nothing. I'm out. I'm good." And then Tamara was like, "Okay." And she know once Fatima left and she said, okay, she knew it was wrong. She trying to take this man for everything he got. So after that, while they're talking in the hallway, Hayden gets a phone call from Gary, and they're talking about, the Tamara situation, looking her up and stuff like that. And Gary decided he's going to come over to the office to see him and say that he's here for Andy, but that's not that. Like, if you and Andy not together, why are you still keeping tabs on her and worrying about if Robin's there? No, like, let that man live. Like, you're trying to take his company from him. Like, bro. But anyways, Gary said he's on his way. So after that, Tamara comes into the office, and she's talking about she want to meet the parents and how he got to meet her parents. And then she also want to do some things in the office. And Hayden's like, nah, I'm at work. She was like, but yeah, that's more fun. So next thing you know, Sis goes up to his desk, and she gets down and do her thing. Okay? We going to leave it at that. Okay? So moving right along. Andy comes into the office, and she's talking to Fatima. Fatima gives her the papers for the family court, and then she was talking about how she saw Zach kiss Karen and stuff like that. And Andy's like, I'm here for you. I'm here for everything. I support everything you guys going on, even with all this little nonsense that's between the back of you and my other friends, like whatever. So they get ready for their meeting and stuff like that. So now we got Sabrina. After Sabrina and Maurice and Calvin's at the lawyer's office, he tells them that they can get 15 years. So he was like, listen, I got another meeting to do. Y'all can let yourself out. So Sabrina, she's trying to process it all. Here's Maurice with little smart remarks like, come on now, this is a serious matter, but he really don't care. So now she got to figure out a way, like hopefully they don't go to jail and stuff like that. So she tries to put Maurice in his place, like, listen, this is all your fault and stuff like that. Because at first she wasn't going to say, but him and his smart mouth, it just made her get to that point. Then she couldn't even say much of anything, so she just got up and left. Calvin tried to talk some shit into him, but he wasn't trying to hear it. Like, listen, Q got to go down for this. And that's just what it is. And they eventually leave. So Sabrina's driving on her way home. She calls Danny while Danny's at work. But before the phone call, Q pulls up in his wheelchair talking to Danny. And Danny ain't got nothing to say to him. Like, listen, I don't care if you use this, and that. Like, going about your way. Eventually, words were said. She pushed him away. Then, she gets a phone call from Sabrina. Sabrina was talking about, like, hey, is Q there? Whatever stuff. She was like, yeah, I told you Q works here. Other than that, him being in a wheelchair, it looked like he ain't never got shot. So they said some words. Danny figured out a way to get a pass so that, Sabrina could come up there and try to talk some sense to him. So that happened. So now Sabrina gets there. They're looking for Q. They find him sitting somewhere. And Danny goes to wake him up and was like, listen, my friend want to talk to you. So they go sit down. Basically, Sabrina broke down. I felt her pain. She cried at the end, but she basically told him, like, listen, I didn't do this. We didn't do this. Like, basically, Q did all this because somebody hurt him in the past and just used him for what he got between his legs. And he wasn't going for that. So basically, he took that previous hurt out on them for no apparent reason. So Sabrina's still trying to plead with him and everything. And Danny just sitting there just like, dang, my friend is really hurt. But at the same time, I got to show that I'm strong because I don't want to break down and cry with her. So it's just like, Eventually, whatever Sabrina said to him, he eventually cried at the end and went on about his day. Sabrina got up and left. And Danny was like, if my friend goes to jail, just believe you're going to get hurt worse than this. And she went on about her day. Then we have Erin goes to the coffee shop. Pam is just there with her coffee, and she overhears him talking about with that girl. And talk about they want to meet up at the coffee shop. So once they got off the phone, he got his coffee. Pam and him said some more words to each other. They was good at one point, and then, it flipped the script, and you know how Pam is. So eventually, he was like, Pam was like, why are you stringing them both along? Meaning Aaron. And stuff like that. He was like, listen, it's all this other stuff. So eventually, after that, Pam left. He decided to call the girl back so they could meet up at another location. That was that. What else? Oh, Andy meets up with another client for their other meeting, and then Sabrina's there as a counsel or whatever. So after that, them people leave. Another lady comes in, Miss Roberta reporter, she comes in, starts going, because she has a divorce case, and she starts talking about the situation. And while she was telling her story and whatnot, both Andy and Fatima, they basically resonated with what she was saying, because Andy, you could see her face got tense, and she was about to cry when it came to the ex-person, the marriage and stuff like that, because that's basically up her alley with Gary and his wife's whole situation. And then the ex, going back to the ex and stuff like that, that's basically Zach and Karen at that moment. So basically, her story full circle represented and resonated with both of them. So it's just like they couldn't let her know that, but you can tell like they was all quiet and tense, whatever. So she said what she said, got her point across, and then she left. Supposedly she's gonna get billed that $500 to the ex-husband that she's divorcing. So she's like, listen, remember what I told you. That's just what it is. And she said, y'all have a good day. So Fatima started crying. And it was like, dang, like, what are we doing? Like, we literally letting these guys come in our lives to disrupt our happiness and making us feel a certain type of way, when are we really the problem? Like, why are we like letting this go through? And Andy was like, listen, we gonna be all right. That lady's gonna be all right. Like, you just gotta take it one step at a time and just see how things play out. But Fatima, she was so over it. And basically Andy was telling her like, listen, you gotta let Zach tell his side of the story. Like, give him some grace. Like, you just going off of your emotions and what you're seeing, but you're not really sitting down to talk to this man to see where his head is at and see where things go from there. So Fatima ain't trying to talk, but we gonna see. So next week's episode, it shows supposedly Karen and Zach supposed to be meeting up somewhere. Zach and Fatima are talking in their house. Next, you know, all the girls is at Karen's house, and she's talking about, y'all gotta hurry up and get out of here because Zach's coming over. Next, you know, Fatima's at her door. She comes in. She was like, yeah, Zach's coming over. And you see all the girls like, yeah, I can't wait for next week's episode. Ooh, some tears about to be spilled. Some hearts about to be broken. Some tears about to be shed. Like, it's about to go down. Oh, my God, it's about to go down. So, yeah. Yeah. Also, I forgot to let y'all know, Hayden is now having second thoughts about marrying Tamara because he realized that they really rushed into that whole situation. So we're going to see what goes down next week's episode, if they even show anything on them too. But yeah, so with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this recap. Y'all stay tuned for next week's episode, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.